everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and in this video we're going to be going through Destinies from Lucky Duck Games with a focus on the solo mode called Explorer. Now, in a previous video that landed on the channel not too long ago, and I'll put a link to it in the top right hand corner, we went through the Challenger mode of the very first scenario within Destinies. The first scenario is a standalone scenario, and the rest of the scenarios from the core box, which there are 4 more of, are all connected through a story. I won't be touching on those in this video. I'm going to be playing the exact same scenario that I played in the previous video, except this time around in a different mode, allowing me to actually explore around and enjoy the narrative inside the game without a time crunch or pressure applied. Not only is the mode going to change, even though we're playing the same scenario, but I am going to change the character that I start off with. So this is going to change the setup, and also the destinies on the back of the noble are going to be different than the huntsman that we used in the prior video. Now, if you want to see the Challenger mode first, head back and check that video out and then come back here so you'll have an understanding, if you haven't seen that, of what knowledge I already know about this first scenario, which will certainly give me a little bit of a leg up as I move through this video. Now let's head inside the app. The first thing you're going to be asked is what you're playing, and we're playing the core box. So we'll select the one on the left, and then as you'll see in the top left hand corner for the first scenario, we've already got a check mark there, just letting you know or indicating that you've played this one before. I am going to be replaying it because, as you remember from my Challenger mode video, I was not successful in defeating it, whereas in Explorer mode, I'll be able to enjoy the story more, and we should come to a conclusion that actually solves and resolves the scenario. So, nature of the beast is what we're diving into, and we're going to go ahead and hit play right now. Next thing we need to choose is the game mode, and we know we're playing Explorer, so I'll click that, and into the intro we go.
It was a dark night in the dead of winter, when the terrible howl resounded for the first time. No strangers to wolves, the men quickly assembled a hunting party. The few who returned, bloodied and terrified, spoke of a monster, a werewolf, hungry for human flesh. The townsfolk turned to the mayor, once a famed warrior, but they found his house dark and abandoned. Did he abandon his kin to the mercy of the monster? Or had some other darker fate befallen him? As the beast prowled the woods, many wondered, what does it want? Where did it come from? And most of all, how to put an end to this nightmare. But there were a few who knew their fates were, for various reasons, tied to the monster. And so, the threads of destiny became interwoven for the first time.
We'll select OK from the app, and next we now get to choose our character. You know I'm playing as the noble, so we'll select the noble here. And this is where it's going to change up in terms of the setup, likely around the intelligence, dexterity, power, in terms of those tracker numbers. We're going to get all those situated on the player board, as well as taking a gold to start, exhausting all of our effort dice, and we'll be starting with a sword, card 14. And just like that, we have our noble fully set up. I've also gone ahead and grabbed the miniature, which we will be placing on the world map here in a second. You'll see we have a sword, which is different from the bow that we had with the huntsman. The sword states here that when we're doing one of these bottom row power tests, we don't roll any of our actual default dice or effort dice. Instead, your roll total just equals 10 right out of the gates. So that's quite interesting, as again, strategy-wise, we can try to get these 11s and 12s down to the 10 or lower, and that will increase the number of overall successes that we have with the noble, so long as the sword is there. But remember, it's a discard, so you can only do this once before that card's removed. Now, just before we move to the setup of the environment itself, let's talk about the backside of the Destiny card for the Noble. It states here, you've been branded a coward. While your brothers fight glorious battles in faraway lands, you stay here afraid. Neither commoners nor lords respect you, and it's only a matter of time before you are replaced. But now it's your chance. You can slay the beast, become a hero, and not only keep, but improve your standing. We've got two different Destiny paths here on the gold and the purple side. Slay the beast is the one on the left. Says find and bring 2 silver items to the blacksmith so he can make you a weapon to kill the werewolf. This is similar in terms of the Destinies to one of the other Destinies on the huntsman, but the one on the right here is different. It says gather a hunting party, help 3 townsmen in need to gain their trust. So if we can gather ourselves a hunting party, maybe because we're a little bit of a coward and have more numbers, we'll be successful in that path as well. So heading back inside the app, we're going to go ahead and hit OK. We've got everything we need to get going on this solo play. And it states right here, game progress is saved automatically at the start of each game day. Save games can be loaded by selecting a previously played scenario and pressing resume last game. This is just a nice little tip as to how the saving works within this one. It's going to start us off, and the layout of the land should be very familiar to those that watch the other video I put out. And we begin with day number 1. So let's head to the table quickly. We're going to populate everything that you just saw in the app on the table, also moving the Noble miniature right into that center position. I've gone ahead and created the game world on the tabletop. I've placed my Noble in the center. We have the church as an available option. And the first thing we do on our turn is we get to bring back one of the effort dice. Remember, all 3 of these purple dice were all exhausted to start the setup. One of them is going to come back into my pool, which will sit in the oval where my default dice are those white ones you saw earlier. So now we move into our turn. We can choose to move, and then we can choose to interact with a point of interest. Now, in my prior video, I didn't really get a chance to explore to the west, so this time around, we're actually going to head to the west towards what I think are ruins, but I'm not 100% sure because, well, I've never been there. So let's go ahead and take the Noble and move him into this location, and we'll now reveal it in the app. Heading back to the app, we simply scroll over, click on the tile we want to interact with or explore. In this case, it's asking us to confirm we want to explore it. It states the hills by the village where the stone circle stands. Let's hit yes. It'll flip over and reveal the wind sings through the ancient stones, chilling you to the bone. We'll go ahead and hit OK. It's going to reveal something else to the north. Interesting. This was something I never got to see in the last play. The ruins of the old abbey lie in this direction. See, and this is where it gets really interesting, especially when you play Challenger mode in my prior video. If you continue to play Challenger mode over and over and over again, you're going to be trying to piece together where everything is with those limited number of rounds. And so it really makes the replayability in the Challenger mode quite interesting because you'll play it multiple times trying to piece together the whole thing so you can min-max and win. Whereas what we're playing right now is an open-ended explorer mode. I'll have a lot more time to explore a lot more of whatever I want to in this mode without that time crunch. So this says there is a ruins here with the old abbey. We'll go ahead and hit OK on this, and we have something else showing up to the south. It says few venture this far into the woods and fewer still with the beast around. And we'll hit OK again. Now we have some standing stones we can interact with, a place of old worship, now rarely visited. And that's going to do it. I think based on how this map is currently laid out, I'm going to be interacting with the standing stones to find out a little bit more about them. So let's go ahead and click on that point of interest and find out what's going on. Inside the app, we'll click on standing stones. Do we want to visit it? Yes, we certainly do. Ancient symbols carved into the stones are now faded, or are faded, but there's still power here. The townsfolk fear and avoid this place. Interesting. Meditate in the circle is an option. Pray to the old gods or search the circle. Now, if there's ancient carvings here, or symbols carved into the stones, and other people don't really want to come here, I am starting to wonder whether it's a good idea to be praying or meditating in this space. Potentially something bad could happen. We could also just straight up try to search the circle, which I think I'll do first, just to see what happens. And this is going to end up pulling a dexterity check, which we are somewhat decent on. We have 6, 8, and 11 in terms of our numbers there. So let's go ahead and click on search the circle, and we're now going to do some tests. Now, taking a look at my dexterity, as I mentioned, in terms of where things are, they're actually on average to the back half of this track. So we don't have any items that can help us in this roll. We know we're rolling at least these two to sum up a total that then is going to be depicted on this track, and everything that meets it or is less than it is going to be considered a success for the app. So being that these three are so high up the track, we probably want to actually use some effort and add this die into the pool just to hope that we get it pushed up further. I'm hoping to at least get 2. Be crazy if we could get 11. I don't know if that's, well, we can get 8 at the highest result for these two dice, and the best result here is a 3. So that would actually work, but we'd have to have a perfect roll, and that doesn't usually work out. Let's see how it goes. Close, but not really. So we got ourselves a 7, which is actually just shy of getting this one. So we only ended up getting a single success. So 1 success going in. We're going to confirm this, and it states there are human tracks here, unusual for this place, but you can't discern anything from them. Someone was here recently, but what for? So we actually are going to end up suffering a little bit of a loss here on our dexterity. That marker basically means that we're moving one of them to the right, which is not good. Anything moving on our tracks to the right is making things tougher for us to get successes. Of course, if it states gain, that's a plus. And there is a gain here, but the gain is around an XP token. So it's worth noting on your player board here, we're going to have to choose one of these 3 in order to move to the right. So for now, I'm going to take the 11 and move it even further, because I really don't want to touch the ones that I think I can hit more often on average. And I've also got this 1 XP token, which I've placed here. It's also worth noting the 1 effort die that I use for my roll now sits over here with the exhausted. So I only have these 2 by default going forward until the next day, when we know we can refresh at least one of them. So heading back into the app, we'll hit OK on what just occurred. It states ancient symbols carved in the stones are faded, but there's still power here. The townsfolk fear and avoid the place. We've heard this before, and we know this because we're still interacting with the point of interest, which is really cool about this game. If you haven't seen my prior video, I talked about this, but your turn's not over when you select one thing from the point of interest. You actually get to interact with as much of it as you choose to. So these things, or these options showing up in the app, are going to change, and you're going to make a selection. Some may disappear, some may alter, some may change, and that's all part of the narrative. So you have to choose wisely. And again, here we have 2 options, both of which are going to point to my intellect, which is actually not too bad. So we certainly could do one of these, and I really don't know at this point in time what's best. I feel like potentially meditating might be the right one to do here. So let's go ahead and try it. We'll hit meditate, and we have to make an intelligence check right now. Now, this is a great time to talk about the XP token. So because I've committed to the meditate in the circle check, I cannot at this moment in time go ahead and choose to use this XP token in order to cash it in to then choose 2 different markers and move them down by 1, or to choose one of the markers and move it down by 2. That's the options you're presented with when you cash in your XP token, but you just can't do it when you're in the middle of a check. You can do it any other time on your turn beyond that. So for right now, I'm not going to spend it. And some of you might have been thinking you probably should have, but it's okay. I want to wait a bit and see which path I really want to spend that XP on in terms of the 3 different tracks I have here. For now, I've got a 5 and a 7. I feel fairly good about it. And I've got these 2 dice to roll, a no effort dice. Let's hope that this gets at least a single success. And if we're really lucky, we get 2. Okay, so we end up getting a 5, which means we just barely passed this by just landing on that exactly. So just a single success this time. Heading back inside the app, we'll go ahead and tick this up by 1 and confirm our success. You close your eyes, touching the icy rock, feeling the traces of ages on it. There's a darkness in this place brought here by a vile ritual disrupting your meditation. Glimpses of visions cross your mind. Wrath's feast, scythe, and sword rise. Flames consume all. You understand nothing but the terror. Doesn't sound very good, that's for sure. You leave in a hurry with a lingering feeling there's more to be seen here. So no wonder interacting with this thing is something that townsfolk have avoided. I probably shouldn't have, and when it stated that most of them avoided it, that probably was a clue to stop messing around with this area. But guess what? Curiosity did kill the cat. So losing an actual track spot or position for intellect is the first thing that's going to happen. So I'll be moving something down by 1. Then I'm going to gain another point of experience. So you can see sometimes that even if you interact with things that are quote-unquote bad, you still can gain experience from that bad decision. It also states to exhaust all my effort dice, but they're all exhausted anyway, so that's not going to impact me. So another XP token is going to go into my pool here, which is great. This is really going to help boost things up. But at the same time, I have to choose something here to move. I can't move anything on the back end of this row at all for intelligence because, well, you can't move a tracker on top of another tracker. So I can't put the 11 on top of the 12, for instance. So they're as far down the track as I can go. So I really just have to choose between these two. So I think for now, I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet and move this down to 6 because typically, normally, I have more effort dice and I wouldn't have to worry about this first one being as far back. So now I'll do that. We'll hope that that's a good idea. So heading back into the app, we hit OK. Our turn now ends and we'll go ahead and hit OK. So we start day number 2. As I mentioned, every single time you start another day, you're going to refresh one of your effort die. So I'm going to take one of those and place it in to the oval. I can tell you right now, what I'm seeing to the north is very intriguing. So I'm going to head up there just to see what's going on with the Abbey and everything else. So let's move our noble up here. And we're going to go ahead and explore tile number 10. So we'll scroll here in the app to 10. We'll click on it and we're now going to explore it and confirm this. We'll flip this over and we'll do this momentarily. For now, it states, an abbey stood here once, now nothing but a wind-blasted ruin remains. All right. So the abbey doesn't exist. There is a ruined abbey we can still interact with there. So that's good. There might be something. We also have the mausoleum. Interesting. So some of these different points of interest are actually tying to some of the stories that came from my prior Challenger play, where I had no idea where some of these things were, and the mausoleum was one of them. Now I do. Although, again, remember the destiny of my previously controlled character was different, and I had the ability to go after ritual items and also the sword or some kind of weapon from the blacksmith. So if this ties into the ritual side of things, this is not going to help me during this play, but now at least I know where this stuff is. It says time has not been kind to the mausoleum. We'll hit OK, and that's going to be it. We now get a choice of what we want to interact with here. This decision gets really tough looking at this on the tabletop. We got 2 different places and I don't really have a driver to go towards any at this point in what I know from the story. So I think I'm going to move towards the mausoleum and see what's there. So let's interact with that in the app. You approach the mausoleum, noticing old but still visible footprints in the snow. Someone must have been here recently. Time has not been kind to the structure, leaving the stones crumbling and the entrance wide open. The interior was robbed and desecrated long ago. That's unfortunate. I was hoping to find something there. The cover of the sarcophagus is broken and cast aside, but a few forgotten coins glitter among the bones. Oh, that's actually good then. Yet you have a strange feeling there must be more to this place. Oh gosh. Okay, so being that everything's already been looted, I don't really feel too bad about potentially stealing these coins. It shouldn't have any kind of moral impact, and this is a big shouldn't. But we're going to go ahead and do that first. Let's try and steal the coins, and when you're selecting an icon that looks like that, in terms of the revolving arrows, this is not going to involve a check. It's going to involve a selection. So we're going to go ahead and click on Steal the Coins. It doesn't feel right, stealing from the dead. This is desperate. This is a desperate time, you tell yourself in vain attempt to feel better. I'm going to gain 2 coins right now, so I'm going to be grabbing 2 coins and we place them next to my character board momentarily. Happy about that, so we'll have a total of 3. And lastly, let's go ahead and search the mausoleum. As you can see, my 3 coins are right here. I gathered 2 recently, 1 from the start of the game. I have 1 effort die I could roll when I do this check, and we're doing it based on intelligence, so I'm going to add this effort die in to hope to get 2 successes here. So here we go. Got ourselves a 9. That's actually a really good roll and guarantees us 2. In the app, we'll go ahead and put 2 in and confirm it. Some old valuables overlooked by past thieves still glitter among the rubble. But what's this? You find a pathway hidden behind the sarcophagus and masked with briars, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Narrow stairs lead downwards. Refresh 1 of your effort dice. That's awesome. So we get the 1 back we basically just used, which I've already refreshed. We'll hit OK. Where does this lead, I wonder? Oh, look at this. As you descend, you notice occult symbols marking the walls of the burial vault. At the bottom of the stairs, you find a door heavy and banded with iron. Another set of occult sigils marks it, and the lock is well made and sturdy. So the only option here we have, and we don't have to do this. Remember, even though options show up, you're not forced into it. You can always click the end of turn and just get out of there if you don't like what you're seeing, but this is a bit too intriguing, and I'm guessing that the app is doing this as some kind of painful torture to me, knowing full well I'm going to go ahead and do this. So let's try and get through the door. This is going to be a check based on our power, so let's head back to our character board. But one thing I want to mention right out of the gates here is that you'll notice there is 2 icons on this option. So one is the power icon, meaning there's a check involved, but the other one is there's potential to scan an item to try to help us with getting through the door. I do have a sword, so I might be able to actually use that sword if it allows me to. So let's click on this in the app first. And it states we can choose to do a check to break the door down, which we know how checks work, or we can try to unlock it. Now, I don't have a key. I don't have, a key would be what I assume I would need to get through this lock, but I wonder if a sword could actually get us through. I don't think so, but let's go ahead and give it a shot anyway. I can tell you right now, I don't feel real confident that this is going to actually work, but it could be kind of funny just to see what happens. So let's go ahead and we'll scan this. The door guards its treasures well. Your attempts bring no progress and leave no mark. We lose one of our trackers. We get to drop one of them down the track for power, so that's not good, but we do gain some experience, and that's something that I'm going to probably start spending really soon, seeing as now I have 3 of them. Now, what you've seen me do over the past few checks is a lot of really silly things, right? I'm not necessarily doing things in any kind of direction or order because the story hasn't unfolded enough for me to really drive towards a location or a direction what I'm choosing to do. I'm kind of just feeling these new locations out to see what they might entail. I also am trying to show you, if this is the first time you've seen the game, how certain things can interact with the app. But going forward, I'm going to start making a little bit wiser decisions. For instance, not using a sword to try to get through a door. So we do have to shift one of these down. So I'm going to choose to actually move this one from 4 down to a 5. And we do gain an XP token. I've got 3 of them now. And I'm thinking we're going to probably spend them. But first we have to hit OK inside the app. So I'll do this. And it actually states that our turn's going to end. So we'll have to wait until the next turn to spend these tokens. And that's okay. So we're just going to continue on through. We know we need to refresh an effort die. So I'm doing this right in front of you right now so you can see it. And we now get to go ahead at this moment, if I want, and I can go ahead and spend some XP tokens. Now, the other benefit to me trying the sword versus actually doing the check on power at the door is that I didn't end up choosing to spend one of my effort dice. So because of that, I now for the first time actually have 2 of them available. The app has actually popped something up for this brand new day. It states, drawn by the rumors of the monster, the bishop himself arrives in town. He takes up residence in the church, and it's said that he offers a reward to anyone who slays the wolves, threatening the faithful. He believes them to be in league with the beast. So if we can actually slay the wolves, we can actually, potentially, I can see how this can actually connect to our hunting party. That would help one of the individuals inside the town, which would certainly lead us towards one of our destinies. So this is the first indicator of one that's pushing me in one direction. The app also states the priest was seen traveling east toward the crossroads, burdened by some troubling dilemma. We'll go ahead and hit OK. And as you can see, it's switching out individuals. There is movement that's happening in tiles you've either explored or ones you haven't explored, even if you don't know it. Now, looking at the game board, I know from my previous Challenger mode play that the individual at the church actually headed to the east towards the crossroads, and I know that because I had checked that side of the board. Now, just before we begin day number 3, let's go ahead and spend a whole bunch of XP tokens right now to boost up some of our trackers and make life easier for ourselves. So first off, I'm going to spend 1 of them, and I'm going to end up ticking up my intelligence to 5, and I'll tick this one from 7 up to 6. Now we're kind of all in this one category here, which is much better chances of getting 2 successes successes there. We're kind of weak on the combat side of things, and I'm still not sure which way I'm leaning destiny-wise. If I go for slaying the beast, I'm probably going to want to be good at the power track, which I'm currently not the greatest. Dexterity is actually not so hot at all, and I probably should boost that up. So I'll spend one of my tokens here. And remember, again, when you're spending these tokens, I could choose to have one of these markers move 2 spaces, or I can choose 2 different markers to move 1 space. And it could be across any of the 3 different tracks. So that's important to note as well. So for dexterity, I think what I'm going to do is start bringing these down so that it's easier to hit them. And then the last one I'm going to use to maybe make combat a little bit easier as well. So I'm kind of doing an even spread here. So I'm just going to kind of do 1 on each of these rather than focusing on the ones at the back for now, but just making sure that we can get a good average chance of getting at least 2 successes across any of these checks. So looking at the game board right now for this next day, day number 3, I need to determine where do you think I'm going to find some wolves. Now, from my prior play, I know a couple of the tiles and what there's going to be in those locations to the east of me, but I've never been to the one way down here south. So I think I'm going to head in that direction, and when you do your move, you can move up to 2 spaces. However, if you hit an unexplored tile, you have to stop and reveal that. So thankfully, because I've revealed this one already, I can move the noble here, no problem with 1, and the second movement would take me here, and now I have to reveal this one, but it's the end of my movement anyway. So going back to the app, let's go ahead and click on tile 4. We're going to reveal this. It's the first time I've ever seen it. It says few venture this far into the woods. That does not sound good. And fewer still with the beast around. Okay, that also doesn't sound good. I really hope I don't run into the beast. That would be bad. The forest is dark and dense. It doesn't want you here. Oh, good. We're gonna hit OK, and we got the old oh my gosh, see, all of these things are starting to connect. Some of these things I was looking for in my prior play. Old Pathfinder is deep in the woods. A small hut stands among the trees. This is where the old Pathfinder lives. We'll hit OK. There's more. The dark woods. Something stirs in the woods. It's pitch black beneath the trees. Oh, I wonder if that is the wolves. Could be, might be, could be something even nastier. Let's go ahead and set up this on the table and make a decision as to which point of interest I want to go for. Okay, so what I'm thinking in my head is I've got a sword on me. I know that there's this dark woods area. This is probably going to lead me down a bad path. But I'm thinking about those wolves and where they could be hiding, and I wouldn't assume we're just going to run into a pack of wolves randomly. They're probably going to be hiding in the woods, which would make sense. So if I head in there with my sword, and my sword is a one-time discard that gives me a total roll of 10, that's going to guarantee me to have at least 2 successes. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have spent one of those XP tokens to actually bump down some of the trackers on the power track a little bit lower, so that when I use the sword, it would be that much more powerful. So yes, mistakes were made, but you're going to see that happen, those kind of mistakes, as I go along, because that's part of the learning. So let's go ahead and actually head towards the dark woods. Even though I'd love to check out the old Pathfinder, I don't have a reason to go there just yet. So let's click on this inside the app, and we're going to interact with it and say yes. The woods are ominous, unwelcoming, and most of all dark. No one comes here without a dire need except for the sorceress. If you believe the rumors, this is where she disappeared. How will you ever find anything in this labyrinth of pitch black paths? So as you can see here, we have an intelligence check we could do with the option for a scannable as well. It says find your way through the woods. And the other one is there someone there? Just call out. Oh gosh, this is really interesting. I'm gonna probably try and call out, although this is probably gonna call out something bad. So let's try that first. It states, perhaps foolishly you shout out. Yes, it was foolish. Demanding that whoever can hear you show themselves. Only wolves respond. See, I told you they're gonna be hiding in the woods. The woods feel even more hostile than before. You gather all your determination, refresh one of your effort die, and we actually get to boost one of our combat up. This is perfect. That worked out absolutely awesome. I can bring this die into the pool, plus I can now move one of these trackers 1 space, and guess what that's going to do? It's going to allow me to have it at 10, which is going to make this sword even more valuable if we use it knowing full well there's wolves around here. Heading back inside the app, we have the option to find our way through the woods, and I'm going to definitely select this, and we can choose to go in blind with a check, or we can try to light the way. Well, I guarantee you I don't have a torch, which would be what would come to mind in terms of an item. So I'm going to be going in blind and doing a check. Let's go ahead and roll. All right, so remember, if I want to use my sword when I'm doing one of these combat tests, I'm not going to have to roll my default dice or any of my effort dice. So I could use a lot of my effort dice here to really guarantee success, which is what I'm going to do because I really don't want to mess up here. So I'm not going to use all of them because I think that might be overkill, although that could be, I could regret that. I'm just going to do 2 for now. Should I do all 3? And then maybe get up so high that I get even better? Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Going into the woods blind does not sound like a good idea. Let's be smart about this. Let's use all of my effort dice in one shot. Here we go. Oh no, we rolled really low. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's still short of these 2 right here. So we only get 2 successes. Heading back inside the app, we'll select 2 for a number of successes. You walk into the blackness with no plan or preparation. Hours later, tired and cold, you count yourself lucky for even finding your way back. Worst. And then of course it would have exhausted our dice anyway. I'm glad I ended up using them all. We get some XP from it, but that did not turn out the way I wanted to, especially when I rolled that many dice. So let's hit OK, and our turn now ends. All right, so I've gone ahead and gathered an XP token for my failure there, but I got a little bit more experience. Just didn't really go off the way I wanted to. Again, thought I'd be able to get past that check with the number of dice I was rolling, but it didn't pan out. It's okay though, because inside the app, if the option is still presented at that point of interest, we can interact with that again and try it again in the future. And we might want to come back to it when we have effort dice available, as well as maybe some more items to help us. Maybe if I went and got a torch and then came back, that's the kind of thing you want to think about. Even when you fail, it could be leading you towards making a wiser decision the next time you try it again. We are done the 3rd day. We're moving into the 4th day, so we get 1 of our effort dice back in the pool. Heading into the app, we'll hit OK to move into the 4th day. It states the missing mayor is the main topic of town gossip. Some blame his disappearance on his wife, who is widely distrusted. She's a strange woman who is rumored to dabble in the arcane arts, the sorceress, some called her behind her back. When he disappeared, so did she. I'll go ahead and hit OK. And as you can see here, the Dark Woods and the Old Pathfinder, there's still options inside the app. They didn't tell us to remove those points of interest, so we still have the availability to come back, as I mentioned, and interact with this in the future. And I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. Heading into day number 4, I'm actually not going to move anywhere. I'm really interested in interacting at the Old Pathfinder POI. So let's go ahead into the app, select it, see what happens. Choosing the Old Pathfinder, we're definitely going to visit. It states, set up the Old Pathfinder's trade stack with the following items. We have a net, a bow, a rope, 2 traps. Ooh, traps could be good for the wolves, I would guess. And a torch, even better. We'll go ahead and set those up right now. So this is an exciting twist. We have the option to purchase some things, and I didn't even know this was available down here. We've got a bow, 2 traps, rope, net, and a torch, and we just realized recently that a torch would be a valuable thing to have, or at least I would assume it is when we're heading into the Dark Woods. I wish I had to interact with the Old Pathfinder first in hindsight, but can't do anything about that at this point. You'll see that whenever you set up a trade stack, you're going to take one of the trade tokens and ensure that you have an equal one that looks exactly the same on the tile that that trade stack is associated to, so you remember you can come back here and interact in the future. Looking at these items up close, we know the bow and how it works from the previous play. The traps here state in a dexterity test, don't roll any dice. Instead, your roll just equals 10, which is pretty awesome. Those could definitely come in handy, I would guess, with the wolves, but I'm not sure because I haven't actually done it yet. Rope here is +2 successes in any dexterity test, and all of these, if I had them for whatever they cost in gold in the top right-hand corner, once I use them, you get the ability on the bottom, but you have to discard the card, so it's a one-time hit there. Now, you can always try to scan it to try to use the particular item in a situation. You might keep it, you might lose it, different things could happen. You also have the net here. This one has an always, or a passive condition that you always get as long as it's in your inventory, one of your 5 slots under your player board. And it states in every dexterity test, you may set one of your rolled effort dice to any face you want. That's pretty useful. That's actually really useful. You could even set it to the automatic success, which would be pretty handy. And the torch here gives you a success in each test this turn, but you have to discard it. With the trade stack set up, let's go ahead into the app and hit OK. And we now get some options. So it says you approach the hut where the old Pathfinder lives. He sits in front of the house, examining a large pile of wolf hides, awaiting preparation. You want my help with the beasts, he guesses? Alas, it got to me first, ambushed me in the woods, took my horse, chased away my hound. Oh, right, that's the connection. I had the old Pathfinder's dog. Now it's all starting to click again. I'd be a little help to you without either of them. Now, this is the thing. This is where I could really start going after my destiny around gathering a hunting party, because I've got a couple clues now that I could piece together in order to help some individuals get on my side to go after this beast. So the options we have here is to return his animal companion, which I already know is a dog from my prior play, but you wouldn't know that if you haven't played the scenario. Ask him about your destiny. We'll certainly do this to see what he states, and I'll be leaning towards probably the purple banner, which is gathering a hunting party. The other one is maybe he could use a hand with his work, so we could try to help him. That could be nice. And we also could see, you know, what he has to sell. So let's go ahead and ask him about our destiny first off. So I'm just going to go ahead and click that in the app, and we're going to scan the card. I'm going to make sure I scan on the right side. So for me right now, I think gathering a hunting party, which is the purple side, is the one that I want to scan. So we'll go like that. If only I still had my hound or my horse, I'd be of use to you. So interesting, we could actually go either way, horse or hound, whichever one works best. Now I remember from my prior play, there was also the availability to buy a horse, I believe, over near the crossroads, I think, or somewhere over in that vicinity. So maybe I could go that route too if I didn't want to, you know, go and try and find the dog. But I remember the dog not being too hard to get. Just got to try to remember exactly where the dog is hiding. But we'll go ahead and hit OK in the app. We now have 3 options. So what do we like to do at this point? Well, I can't do the top one, so we'll leave that one alone for now, because the only thing I could scan and give to him would be my sword, which would not be useful. So let's try to give him a hand with his work, see if we can help him. So we're going to head to the dice and do a check. Now again, I haven't used my XP token here. That's okay. I plan to hold on to it for now. I'm quite happy with where things are. I will want to use this very soon though. I just don't know if I want to use it on the power side of this track here, but we'll see. We might change our minds on that later. So for now, 2 default dice. We could use the sword in this because it is a power test, and then we wouldn't roll any dice. We just get an automatic 10, which would actually give us 3 successes, but I want to wait for the opportune moment to use that, most likely with wolves or something else rather than something like this. So let's go ahead with the 2 default dice. And I'm also going to go ahead and use 1 effort die just to see if we can stretch to get up to that 10, because that would be pretty nice if we get 3. Oh, look at that. We got an automatic success and a 6. Oh no, we were just shy. So the 6 is going to land us right here, which means only 1 success. And then this will be our 2nd success. So close. Just needed one of these to be a 4, and we would have had 3 successes. Heading back into the app, we'll place the 2 successes in, confirm what happened. A little surprised, he welcomes your help. The hides are heavy and the work is hard, but sometimes it seems it's good to take a break from your task. You are rewarded with a trophy from his recent hunt. Gain the bloody trophy, card number 2. We'll go ahead and hit OK. Let's go get that card. So we've gained another item in our inventory. We finally got something beyond just the sword we started with. We have the bloody trophy. This is a discardable item. We can also scan it to try to use it and interact with things. But if we discard it, we get the ability down below, which states if you have a marker on the row for power and it's in the 1 position, which we currently don't, we gain 2 XP. So we can really push up that marker, which is currently the closest to the 1 position is at 4. So if I use my XP token I already have, I could get it up to a 2, and then maybe with another XP token, I could get up to a 1 and really start taking advantage of this. Let's go ahead into the app and see what he has to sell. That's what I'm really curious about. It's probably the same items that we just got set up from the stack, but I want to purchase some things as I have 3 gold. So we'll click on that. Says he seems to have gathered quite a collection in his hunts and patrols. He's willing to part with some of it. Use the Pathfinder's trade stack, and that's the stack we set up already. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. So at this this point, we can now spend gold in order to purchase items. Now, looking at the trade shack, it's also worth mentioning the fact that you can sell items you have in your inventory. So for instance, if I don't want my sword or I don't want the bloody trophy, I can sell it for the gold value that's actually on the card, and I just gain that gold. So if I'm really hurting for cash, I can do that as an option. But for now, I have 3, which I think is enough to get me what I need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to definitely buy a torch, as I know I need that in order to get through the dark woods to find out what's at the end of that path, however frightening it may be. So I'm going to spend 1 right now, and we're going to put the torch in my inventory in the position to the far right. And the other items I'm interested in, and this is where it gets tough, I don't know what's going to be best for going after wolves per se. Is it better to have a net? Probably not. Is it better to have a trap? That's probably more likely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, or I'm going to purchase both of the traps. Now this could be dangerous because maybe I don't need both, but I'd rather purchase them and have them and be able to sell them later than not have them when I need them. So we're going to spend the 2 coins and we're going to buy both of the traps. That is going to completely fill up my inventory. All right, so I'm completely poor at this point, but I've gained a bunch of traps and a torch. We're going to go ahead and end our turn in the app right now because I have nothing else I need to do with the old Pathfinder, but I plan to try and find his dog and bring it back to him. So we'll end our turn here and say yes. And we move into day 5, so we're refreshing 1 die, which is going to go back to the pool. And at this point, it states, the beast attacks. The grounds around the noble manor to the northeast become a scene of slaughter. Men and animals alike lie dead. The manor's gates are shut. We'll hit OK. The town hall is hastily transformed into a field hospital. The victims are lucky a doctor was passing through town. So at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and place this miniature that represents the town hall. It states the town hall's open now, and it's in a different function, of course, at this point. We'll go ahead and hit OK. And we now can begin day number 5. I'm going to go ahead and set myself up to have a really successful run into the dark woods. For now, I'm going to move out of the tile that I'm in and actually head back to town because I think I'm going to end up interacting at the church here because I know from a previous play when I'm at the church, I can actually pray or meditate, and that will bring back all of my effort dice, which will help me going into the dark woods that it's successful. Now, I know I have a torch already, so that likely is all I need, but I really want to be prepared for whatever is going to happen in there. So heading back into the app, we'll take a look. We had the option to check out the town hall. Now at the end of my prior play, I had gone in there and interacted, and I got some money, I believe, at that point in time, and there might have been some other interactions I didn't do in there, but I think what I'm going to do is head to the church right now, as I mentioned, because I know I can get the benefit of those dice back. We're going to interact at that POI and hit yes. The church gathers the faithful every day since the beast attacks. Some see the beast as a divine punishment. Most believe it can't step onto sacred ground. With so many eager to repent for their sins, the offering box is always full. The bishop has taken over and made the church his own. So far, no one has earned his reward. Interesting. So we have here proven you've killed the wolves, which we currently at this point in time can't say we... Well, actually we can. Couldn't we show the bloody trophy? That could actually work. That could actually work. Let's give that a shot. Why wouldn't we? Let's go ahead and pretend like we've killed the wolves, even though we technically didn't. Maybe that's the key to this. The bishop seems unconvinced. You've brought me proof that you've killed one of them, but does that really make a difference? Wolves still howl at night, and men of God still live in fear. Oh, okay, so it wasn't enough. All right, interesting. It seems you'll need to convince him your trophy is sufficient. Oh, even more interesting. And now I've also noticed this is going to be really... So I went into the church thinking I'd be able to take advantage of getting some dice back. The options changed because of the timing of when I went to the church in this play from the play I did prior that, was kind of in my head. I was thinking I could go back there and make use of it, but the bishop is here now and he's operating the church differently. So let's go and do an intelligence check right now, and we're going to see how well we do. Wow, this really changed, but the good news is I have a 5 and a 6, so I'm pretty sure I can pull off 2 successes. Now, knowing that I can't replenish too much from my dice, I really don't want to use this effort die. I was hoping again to get all my dice back. I don't know, and I haven't used my XP token yet, which I can't use it right now because I'm in a check, but I don't really have a stat row I really am gunning for just yet, but I'm probably going to use this on the next day. So let's go ahead and roll what I have here. I think I will use the effort die, even though I don't want to, because I really want this to actually work, because it seems like there could be a benefit here. Maybe I'll have someone want to join the party. I don't know if the bishop will or not, but let's see how this goes. All right, so we got 4 and a success. Well, oh my gosh, that was terrible. So we actually ended up missing the mark and getting any successes, but we ended up getting one saving grace right there, and there's nothing across my row that will actually help me with this. So I'm going in with 1 success. I highly doubt I'm going to be convincing him. Heading into the app, we'll input 1 success, hit confirm. It says no, he says, shaking his head and striking the floor with his staff. Bring me a more substantial trophy if you want a reward. We are going to end up losing an intelligence, but gaining an experience point. So I've added another experience point here. We're going to lose this one, dropping it down to 7. And guys, I need to apologize for something. I thought I didn't see the pray option in the app. I just got really excited by that other option, and for some reason blanked right over top because I think I was looking for the word meditate when it actually was pray. And I believe if I pray right now, it's going to bring back all the dice, which is still okay, because guess what? I can use the dice for my original intent, which is to head back to the Dark Woods with all those dice ready to go. But it would have been wise to actually replenish all of the effort dice in the church first with a pray, and then after that done what I did in terms of trying to convince him, I would have had probably a better time with it. So that was a slip up on my part for sure, and one I'm sure you guys are grinding your teeth over, and definitely deserve that. So we're going to go ahead into the app now. I'm just going to hit pray, and it states your convictions and your conscience are clear. The prayer fills you with new determination. So all of these 3 dice are coming back, which is fantastic. So I'll drop them all in there, and we're going to be ready to head back to the Dark Woods the next day. So at this point in time, we're not going to steal any money from the offering box. I don't really want to cause any problems just yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and say end my, well, you know what? No, let's not do it. Let's not do it. Let's not cause ourselves any more grief. We're going to go ahead and end our turn right here. And by ending our turn, we now move into day number 6. We refresh 1 die, but everything's back, so we're fine there. And it states the beast was seen running toward the woods. It moved inhumanly fast. All right, so the beast is in the woods somewhere. That's not good news. I'm much more prepared now to head into the Dark Woods, so let's go back to where we were, which is this individual right here represents me, so 1 and 2, and we're going to interact with that Dark Woods again and see how successful we are this time. I'm really excited for this. I really hope this goes well, because most of the checks I've been doing so far have not been going well. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to actually spend some of my XP to boost some things up before we jump into this. Now, it's kind of ironic looking at the bloody trophy. I was actually looking at it and going, oh, it'd be super handy to go ahead and have this trigger and be able to discard it to gain 2 XP tokens. But guess what? To try to get this 1 right here, 2 here, it actually would end up costing the 2 just to do it. So really what you're doing is you're just kind of over guaranteeing that you're going to have a single success, because again, if you're rolling these 2 default dice, the worst roll you can possibly get is 2. So you're just going to always guarantee you're going to get a success, which isn't bad, because as you saw in a previous roll I just did, I did really terrible, and the only thing that saved me was an automatic success. So it can happen that things don't work out well, right? Just from the dice rolls, and you've seen that probably too many times in this playthrough than you'd like to. So let's still spend some XP here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this ability right now. So I know I've already tried with the bloody trophy, and it doesn't seem like that convinced him that I got rid of the wolves. So I think that path could be dead. I'm not 100% sure if that path is even going to open up anymore, because I think I kind of shot it with the bishop. It didn't really pan out so hot. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend this XP token, and we're going to bump this one up by 2. To go to here. Then I'm going to use the second XP token to go ahead and bump this up by 1 to get it up to the 1 position. And I have 1 more, so what I'll do is I'm going to move a different row. I'm going to move probably my intelligence, the one I lost. I'm going to bring it back up. And then right now, I'm going to go ahead and use the bloody trophy and discard it right now. It says if you have a tracker red at 1, which I do, I'm going to gain 2 XP right away. So this card is going to go back to the box, giving me back 2 more tokens to spend, which I'm going to use right now. We're going to spend this token here, and we're going to bump up some more. So how about we go ahead and start pulling up the back of this row a little bit? So let's go ahead and maybe have... Dexterity's not so hot. I only have 2 success in there, so let's go ahead and bump this one up to a 10. And then in order to help myself out here, if I look at what I'm rolling here, a lot of these things are going to trigger on 10s. So actually this works out really well because the traps are going to give me an automatic 10, which is perfect for dexterity. So that one move was absolutely exactly what I need to do for these cards. For the sword, I already have these 3 for 10 and under. So if I go ahead and bump this one up by 2, you'll see I can't do that because there's already a marker there, but I could slowly start moving it up that way. So maybe what I'll do is I'll move this one 1 position and this one 1 position, and the next time I'll get it over the hump. All right, let's head into the dark woods and see what we end up finding. Oh man, it's gonna be interesting. Okay, so we know the woods are ominous, they're unwelcoming, bad things are going to happen. Here are the 2 options we have. Find our way through the woods. Is someone out there? Call out. So I'm just going to skip right to finding my way through the woods because I plan to use an item. I'm going to try to light the way here in the app. So we're going to scan the torch card that I have, which should be exactly what I need here, hopefully. The light and warmth of the flame accompany you as you explore the forest's dark paths. In the firelight, you notice that someone has adorned the trees with sigils that you don't recognize, marking the way you follow into what must be the forest's cold heart. It states we have to discard the torch, so basically it burnt out as we used it. We hit OK. A dead husk of a large tree stands before you, a door-like opening within its roots. Dark symbols are carved into its bark. You step in. I don't know if I... All right, so the rumors were true. This is where the mayor's strange wife has made her hideout. Haha! The place is deserted now, left in a hurry. The hollow tree, lit by candle flame, has a hollow that has been transformed into an austere room. I hope I pronounced that correctly. A simple bed of straw and blankets and a table with scattered scrolls and amulets are all you can see inside. You feel unwelcome. I now definitely feel unwelcome. I've got 3 options. We can search the hideout. We can keep yelling out, is someone there? Or we can read her notes. I actually kind of want to read her notes. So let's read her notes, the bottom one. You don't understand much of the notes, but what you do is unsettling enough. Words of curses, failed spells, and something entering the mortal world. A demon proclaiming the coming of the end times. How much of it is just fear-driven ramblings? Exhaust 1 of my effort dice, but we gain 1 XP token. So I'll go ahead right now. We'll take 1 of the dice out of the equation and remove it. And we're going to go ahead and grab 1 XP token. We're going to add this token to our pool, which is great. We'll hit OK in the app. And we have 2 options left. So I could scream out or I could search around. Let's do some searching. So we're going to go and do some dice rolling at this point with our intelligence. Now, just before I commit to doing this test and actually moving into a check, because again, remember, you can't use your XP token when you're inside of a check. Before I commit to this, I'm going to go ahead and spend this XP token in order to boost some things. And the one thing I'm going to boost, I'm going to get this one up to a 10, and I'm going to move this one up to a 10 as well. So I'm kind of getting the back half of my board moving up forward. Now I'm really prepared for the sword and trap usage and getting the best bang for buck on the 2 tracks that they associate with, which is great. So going into this check, I want to get a number of successes off the intelligence row, so I definitely want to use at least 1 effort die. I could use 2 though, and there's no other checks here, so I'm really tempted to, because I would be able to replenish as I walk through. Let me think. Should I do that? Should I use both? Probably should. I really want to be successful at this. Let's not hold back. Let's go crazy and try and get as much as we can here. Oh, I'm glad I did, because I didn't get a good roll at all. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, which just puts us here. So we get 1, 2 for sure, but we also get the 3rd one from here. So that's a saving grace. So I'm glad I got 3. That's a little bit better than the 2 I normally seem to get. 3 successes going inside the app. Let's confirm. Amulets, scrolls, and less savory things beyond your understanding of magic. Among the one object draws your attention with the sheer malevolence it radiates. If anything here holds real power, it's the obsidian knife, still streaking with dried blood. Gain the obsidian knife, 37. This sounds pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and hit OK. I'll be taking that knife, and then we need to decide whether we want to call out. Now check this knife out. Not only is it a weapon, but it's a ritual item. This is actually one of the special items that I would have needed to get for my other Destiny on my other character. So this is a very cool one. It's an always effect, so whenever this thing's sitting in my inventory, I get this benefit. It states after each test where you roll equal to or less than 5, refresh 2 effort dice. This is going to come in so handy. Heading inside the app, we have one last thing we could choose to do. It says, is someone there? Call out. Now last time we called out, I think we riled up some wolves and other noises within the woods. I don't know if yelling out's a good idea, but if I do call out, I might get the opportunity to actually take some of them down, and I don't need a lot of effort dice to do it because I have some great items. So I think I'm going to call out. We're going to click it right now. This should be interesting. Perhaps foolishly, you shout out, demanding that whoever can hear you show themselves. Only wolves respond. The woods feel even more hostile than before. You gather all your determination. Refresh 1 of your effort dice, so that's a plus. We'll grab one of them and place it back in the pool. And we gain actually 1 on our power as well. That's quite nice. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. And that's it. We're going to have to end our day right there. We'll click end turn and we'll say yes. We now move into day number 7, where we can refresh another die back into the pool. And I definitely need to show you guys which track, or which marker on the track for power is going to get ticked up by 1. All right, so screaming to get wolves to show up didn't work. We're going to have to try something else. For now, moving something up on the power track here, I'm going to move the one in the 7 position here. It's going to go up to 6. Well, I'm not sure about you guys, but I think we should head to the east. We have a little bit of a path kind of out to the east side of us, and we might want to explore that. So let's move over here and interact with this tile. But before we do, at the beginning of day number 7, it states, husband of a witch, son of a witch, nothing good could have come from this. Some say about the missing mayor. Others claim the sorceress summoned the beast to kill him as she hid in the dark woods. All right, well, I just came from there and learned a lot about what went on, but there was nobody there. I even did some insane screaming as well. That place has been left abandoned, but we know we're heading right now to tile 25. Let's explore it, find out what we have. An old road skirts the forest edge. All right, we're going to hit OK again. We now have access to 42, which will be beside it as well. Wolves, oh, it states wolves howl. The forest does not welcome you. Well, looks like we know where the wolves are now. And then we're going to hit OK. There is a lost monk here. That's interesting. And it says a fat monk slowly makes his way through the thick snow. Oh no, the beast is here. The beast is lurking nearby. Beware. Okay, did not expect that. Let's place the beast down as well and get the tabletop all set up. So my character, the noble, is just strolling through a path, and out comes the werewolf out of the woods, and at the same time he's also hearing from the east the howls of wolves. So I mean, everything in every direction seems absolutely positive here. Now I can tell you right now, this is a little bit of an interesting situation. Now, I don't know if I interact with the beast, which it does allow me to do this in the app. If I want to try to interact with it, I can. I have no idea how that would pan out. And the only thing I know based on my Destiny cards, it states slay the beast, but I have to bring 2 silver items to the blacksmith to make a weapon to kill the werewolf. Now, what's worrying me is I already have a weapon, I already have the sword, but is it the right weapon to kill this thing? Like, if I go in there, am I basically risking my own neck because I don't have the right item? I would highly doubt that I can use a weapon that I got at the beginning of this entire scenario as the weapon to kill the beast. I feel like that would be kind of a little bit OP. So I think going into that situation and even entertaining it would be a bad idea. So I'm going to avoid interacting with the beast because I don't want to at this point in time at all. But I might interact with the monk to see what the monk has to say. So let's head into the app and do just that. So heading into the app itself, the Lost Monk will select Visit the Lost Monk, yes. Humming a happy tune, a fat monk trudges through the snow, red face with his tonsure glistening in the winter sun. He waves at you and smiles as you approach. It seems as though he's drinking wine from his water skin. Care to help a fellow traveler? Do you not see the werewolf that's right behind me? Okay, and we have 3 options here. Help him brave the snow, ask him what he's doing alone in the wilderness, or ask the monk about your destiny. Okay, well, let's do the asking about your destiny first, just to see if he has any hints on what I should do. Now, I haven't gotten any hints around silver items yet to build a right weapon, and I'm not even really far enough along on gathering a hunting party yet. I think I botched it when I tried to get the bishop to join my hunting party with the one, blood item that I had, the bloody trophy, and that convincing didn't go over very well, so I might have lost out on that option, but I'm not too sure yet. There might be others, right? Hunting party means multiple people, so I'm sure there's other people I can interact with, but let's ask about the hunting party. I think that would be a better one for this individual. At least I hope so anyway. So we'll scan that and see what happens. The innkeeper fears something has happened to his supplier. Okay, so maybe we can help the innkeeper out, and the innkeeper could potentially join the party. So that's another option. So let's go ahead and hit OK. We'll keep that in the back of our mind. We have the option to help him brave the snow. We can ask him what he's doing alone in the wilderness as well. I'll do that. Let's do the bottom one. So sometimes one purpose is just to be a stranger in need. He answers cryptically, then smiles and reaches into his bag. Would you care for a bite? He offers you some bread and smoked fish. So we gain a food, card 7, and refresh 1 of our effort die. That is going to be all my effort dice back in my pool, which is fantastic. So that's going back in, and we'll gain that food as well and hit OK. Here is the item I just gained. You can see at the very bottom, if I discard it, I can refresh up to 2 of my effort dice. That's pretty handy. Back in the app, we can choose to help him brave the snow. Let's do it. We're going to go ahead and click on it, and we're going to be doing a power check. Now for this one, I don't want to go overkill on it, but I'm definitely happy to use at least 1 die and keep the other 2 effort dice for something a little more important later on. We'll see how this goes. We're looking for a decent roll. As long as I get 6 or higher, I got 2 successes, so that should be okay. We ended up just getting, oh my gosh, 5. My rules today have not been working out, so only a single success. Now, yes, I could have used the sword here, but I don't think that's the right time, or this wasn't the right time to do it. Going to the app, inputting 1 success, and confirming he is so short that the snow almost reaches his waist, but his bulk makes it difficult for him to move through the thick snow. You attempt to clear a path for him, but progress is very slow. Soon you must both rest. Humming, okay, and that's basically it. So we gain nothing but just burning a die for that. We're going to now end our turn, and that's going to be that. We're now into day number 8. We do get that 1 effort die back, so I'm going to grab that and put it back in the pool. And we're going to hit OK, see if the app gives us anything else. No, it does not. Now we can choose where we want to go. Now, this is what I'm struggling with in regards to the wolves. First off, I thought they were in the dark woods. They were not. I spent a lot of time digging around in there. I did get a really cool knife, but nothing that's going to help me with the wolves. I also went back to the bishop, not realizing that that was the individual that cared the most about the wolves. And then when I tried to show him, I actually had some evidence of one being dead. I couldn't even convince him that it was enough to do the job, and now I don't think that option even presents itself at that church anymore. Now, if I go back there, I don't know, maybe I still can convince him by bringing him more in the future, but at least on that given turn I can't. But I really want to head to the east, because I really don't want to spend any more time on this tile where the beast is. I want to get over there so I can try to deal with some of these wolves. Hopefully they don't ravage me. So let's go ahead and move into tile 42 and explore. Heading into the app, we're going to go ahead and click on 42 and explore it. And ooh, look at this. There are wolves in these woods. Is it wise to venture alone? Let's go ahead and hit OK. Oh, even more. 24. There's music in the distance. They have individuals that have made their camp over there. Awesome. A broken cart, you say. An overturned wagon. Crows circle above. You smell blood. Interesting. The wolf lair. Ah, wolf den. Few would dare approach it unprepared. Well, I think I'm very prepared here, although this could go sideways, but I think that's where I want to go. So I'm just going to dive right into this right now. First, we'll get the tabletop set up as well. Everything's set up on the tabletop now. Let's head into the app and interact with that wolf lair. I think I'm prepared for this. Here we go. Clicking on the wolf lair, it states, do you want to visit it? Yes, we certainly do. Bones litter the ground around the den. There are several wolves in there. A direct attack may be foolish. We can set a trap. Yes, I've been waiting for this. This makes me excited. I wonder how many of them I'm going to need to kill them all. Let's go ahead and set a trap right now. I am definitely prepared. So we're going to go ahead and set a trap. You set a trap on the wolf path, hoping they choose this way. With no proper bait prepared, you decide to put yourself in peril. The wolves notice, they come, the trap works, catching 1 and weakening their assault. The pack falls into chaos and you fight, knowing all too well there might be no escape. You pay with blood for every fallen wolf, but eventually, bloodied, you prevail. So we're going to lose 1 on the combat, or I should say the power track. Every time I want to call it combat, I mean power. And then it's going to be exhaustion of 1 of my effort dice, which I can do. Discard the trap card I just actually used, and then gain the wolf den trophy. That's a lot better proof right there. So this one trap that I just used is now being removed. We are also exhausting one of our effort dice. We also are going to lose one on the combat track here. So because I don't really care about this being at 1 anymore, and I've lost the item that gave me the benefit anyway, because I got the 2 XP off it when I get rid of it, I'll put this down to 2 because it doesn't hurt me in any way, shape, or form. Because again, if I roll 2 1s on these default dice, I still get that 1 success anyway. And we're going to go ahead and gain card 29 from the stack. Here's the Wolf Den trophy. It's a charm. Always, it states in every power test, you may set one of your roll die to any face. That's amazing. We're definitely going to go ahead and slot that into our inventory. I really hope the option at the bishop is still there. Heading back into the app, we'll now hit OK as we've done everything it asks for. And we can search the den too. Ooh. Oh, tempting. Well, we might as well, right? We're already in here. Let's go ahead and do that check now. Now for this test, I really want to be successful. So let's go ahead and roll these 2 dice. And let's see if we land a 6. That is going to be enough for 2 successes. It does state here on this knife that after each test where you roll equal to 5 or less, you can refresh 2 of your effort dice back. So maybe in that case, I'll actually use 1. So I can refresh 2 back if I happen to be really low on this. So let's go with that. Let's see how this goes. Oh, and look at that. We got a really low roll anyway. It's a 4. That worked out exactly as I planned. So the only downside is 1, 2, 3, 4 is a complete and utter botch. I'm trying to find anything there. Man, my rolls today have been terrible, but the knife does save me in that right now because I rolled so bad. I get to bring these dice back, so I'll have all my dice going into the future turn. But yeah, no successes there. I think this is the first time I'm inputting 0 into the success bar here. I don't think I've ever done that badly. So we're going to hit confirm, and it states there is nothing to be found here, you reckon, after a moment of digging through bones. We just gain a single XP. Now, I imagine if I had actually done better on this, in terms of searched better and actually really tried, I might have found something really cool here, but I definitely screwed that up. So gaining 1 XP token instead and hitting OK, our turn is going to end. So next it states, the lair is no more. Will the woods be safer now? And we'll hit OK. So the actual wolf lair point of interest can now be removed as well. And we're going to hit OK. And we move into day number 9. We refresh a die, but we already have all our dice refreshed. And we can hit OK and head into our next selections. So looking at the table, I know exactly where I want to go right now. I want to head back to the town and interact with the bishop and hope that with the proof of the Wolf Den trophy that I have, I'm going to be able to convince this individual that I've taken care of the problem. So for day number 9, let's go ahead and move 1 and then 2 here, and we're going to interact with the bishop. Going back to the app, we're going to move over to where the bishop is, and of course it is represented by the church in the app. Clicking on this, we'll say, yes, let's visit the church. Okay, so the church gathers the faithful every day since the beast attacked. Some see the beast as a divine punishment. Most believe it can't step onto sacred ground. We've seen this in the past, so in terms of the synopsis of what's going on at the church. But what really matters is the top option here. It states, prove you've killed the wolf. So you can see, even if you failed to try to convince them the first time around, coming back and interacting at a point of interest is a possibility. Again, sometimes, not every option is going to show up multiple times, but it's nice to see this because I have a Wolf Den trophy. So we're definitely going to go ahead and scan this. Now, I don't need to pray at this point because all of my dice are already replenished and I already have them available in terms of effort dice. So, I mean, I'd have to determine whether I feel like also stealing money from them. I might. Maybe I want to be bad. Let's go ahead and hit prove you've killed the wolves to start. We're going to scan the Wolf Den trophy and hopefully this is going to do it for the bishop. It says, you struck a serious blow against those monsters, rejoices the bishop. He orders his attendant to bring you a reward. Silver shines as they unveil it. Ooh, discard the Wolf Den trophy and gain the censer. Now this sounds like a step in the right direction for Slay the Beast Destiny, which I have, rather than trying to gather a hunting party. Now this is a cool item. It's tagged as a holy and silver item. It's got an always effect while I have it in my inventory. In every intelligence test, you may once reroll all of your effort dice. That is going to be very, very handy. I'm going to be keeping this in hand. So I think now my priority is going to shift from gathering a hunting party to potentially building what we need out of silver items, which we just need 1 more, and then we can head to the blacksmith to get a weapon to go slay the beast. Hopefully, being that we know where the beast is, it's not going to move. Taking a look at the table, I am definitely happy with how that last interaction panned out. Having one of these items is going to come in very, very handy, and also shows you how you can pivot your destinies within the game based on how things are going for you. So let's head back to the app. We're going to move into the next day. So back inside the app, day number 10, refresh an effort die. We don't have to do that because all my effort dice are refreshed. We'll go ahead and hit OK. The bishop's efforts prove misguided in the most cruel way. The beast, unimpeded by the sacred ground, enters the church and chooses the bishop as his next victim. That's pretty crazy. There's not much left of the poor man after it is done. Is this vengeance for its lesser brethren or just a horrible coincidence? Those are great questions. That's exactly what's going through my head right now. A wave of terror floods the town as even the church proves to offer no sanctuary. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. This is nuts. So the bishop is now being removed off the tabletop, and the point of interest token will be replacing it. Is now the church we can interact with there. Let's hit OK. It states to move the beast. That's not surprising. So the beast is actually now on the same tile we are. We'll go ahead and hit OK, and we can move into day number 10. Wow, that was a twist that I was not expecting. So now beginning day number 10, so many things are going around in my head in terms of what's happening with the beast. Is it targeting individuals on purpose? Is it a coincidence it happened to take out the bishop right after I interacted with him and got something I needed to kill it? Like, what is going on? Or is the beast just running around at random and killing townsfolk, which is obviously going to throw curveballs into my destinies no matter which one I pick. So being that I know roughly that I need to explore more east to get to some of the individuals that are going to help me with the slaying of the beast, and I know this because I need a blacksmith, we're going to head to the east right now. So I'm going to move on day number 10 into this location here. We're going to explore tile 23. So heading inside the app, we'll scroll over here, hit 23, where yes, we're going to explore it. Flipping it over, this part of town houses the inn and the craftsman's dwellings. Usually it's teeming with life. Now the streets are empty. Well, no wonder the beast is in the streets killing people as we speak. We'll hit OK. The hanging tree stands where two roads meet, and we'll go ahead and hit OK. That's tile 52 that'll be placed. We also have tile 54. The fields are frozen solid up north, and then we'll hit OK. We have an inn in the bottom left-hand corner of the tile we moved on to, and in the top right-hand corner we have the smith. This is one of the key individuals for the Destiny Slay the Beast, which I am likely to lean towards now that I only need one more silver item to pull this off. And we'll go ahead and hit OK. And now, oh, we also have the Manor's House as well, point of interest, and it stands empty currently. Looking at the tabletop, things have really opened up now. We got options all the way around us, but the blacksmith is certainly a key one. And I have to choose right now, though, whether I want to interact with the blacksmith, the inn, or the mayor's house. So let's head into the app and make that choice. I'm going to go ahead and select the inn, and we're going to say yes to visiting the inn. And I'm going in here without any money, so this could be bad. The townsfolk inside are busy discussing current events in the days of the beast. There's much to talk about, but they fall silent as you join them, and they quickly make their excuses. Rumors of your interest in the monster are spreading, and someone pushes a talisman into your hand. It protects you from evil, they say, almost apologetically. We're going to gain the talisman, which is card number 6, and I'll be adding that. Now, the one thing to note is I've now gathered a 6th card, and you can only have 5 in your inventory at any one point in time. However, what I can do is either use a card from my hand right now and get the benefit of its discard, if I can make use of one of them, or I can drop it in a location and use the trades token to know that it's there and come back and grab it in a future round if I'm sitting on that tile. So what I'll do is I'll hit OK for now. We'll grab that talisman and we'll organize our inventory. Now, taking a look at the items that I have right now, I love each and every one of them for so many different reasons. First off, I have a card that works with every different type of skill check, which is awesome, and it really gives me a boost on all of them. Of course, one of them is always, the other two are discards. I can't make use of them right now. This always one here, I want to keep this knife on me because this is incredible that I can refresh dice just by having poor roll results. This one allows me to refresh up to 2 dice, plus just having food might come in handy with any interactions with people I might run into. So the one I'm kind of eyeing, and honestly, it's a really tough choice overall in terms of dropping, because there's nothing here I can actually use right now for its benefits, because again, I couldn't even consume the food as I refreshed all my dice anyway. I could actually consume it and just gain nothing from it and toss it. it, but I'd rather put it on the ground so I could potentially pick it up later. But I'll keep the food, so we'll ignore that. The two I'm arguing between are the sword and the trap. Now that I have the knife, and it's an always, I don't know if I need the sword as much, but I could run into a check for power along the bottom where I really need that, especially in any kind of fight. And being that we're going to try to slay the beast, probably a good idea to keep that. So maybe the trap is the one we don't need anymore, as I've already dealt with the wolves now. So I'm going to go ahead and put a token next to this card, and we're going to place that token on the tile I'm on. The talisman is actually going to go in to its place, and you can see a talisman would have come in really handy because it gives me 3 successes in a test where I got 0, and that actually happened very, very recently. So just like that, I've grabbed a trade token that matches exactly the same one I placed on the tile where I currently am, and that's where the trap can be found. I can pick it up later on if I choose I want to come back and grab it. As of right now, we're happy with how things have panned out, but we're still inside the app in terms of picking what we want to do next. So let's head in there and choose some things. The inn is warm and welcoming. Despite the air of anxiety caused by the monster's arrival, hunting trophies cover the walls, mementos of the innkeeper's past. Townsfolk exchange rumors in hushed voices. The innkeeper seems distraught. When you ask, he explains that his trading partner, carrying a substantial amount of coin, is days late. The path through the woods is growing dangerous. Oh, believe me, I know. And I'm not sure about the inn's future if I don't get the money soon. Oh no, so I don't really... Maybe I should have stolen all the money from the church in order to give him some cash, but I don't have any anyway. So you can see here I could buy a meal. I could also give money to the innkeeper. I really don't have those options at this point in time. The other two things I have is I can ask an innkeeper about a particular item if I think there would be any value in that, or I could ask the innkeeper about my destiny. I'm going to do the asking about the destiny one now, but instead of scanning the purple one for the hunting party, I'm going to scan the gold side for slaying of the beast, because I want him to hopefully help me figure out what other silver item I need. So let's see if this pans out in our favor here. It states the abbey used to hold many treasures, but now it lies in ruins. Maybe something remains. And I did not check the abbey. The abbey's way up in the top left-hand corner. Maybe that's exactly where I need to go. So let's go ahead and hit OK. That was a really great hint. That really helps me because I may have gone far, far to the east and been going in the total wrong direction. So at this point in time, I could ask the innkeeper about an item if I so choose. For fun, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to scan that other silver item I have, which lines up with the destiny I just asked about, just for the sake of it. I don't really have too many other items I really want to ask about, so this one seems like an interesting one. Maybe he'll know it for some reason. The smith can do wonders with silver. It is said silver blade can kill the unholy beast. So he's going to create me a silver blade. I'm getting even more information about the destiny by doing this. You can see if I had to scan something like food with him, he probably would have said, that's great, nice meal, and that would have been it. Maybe even less than that in terms of what he gave me. But if you scan something that actually relates to maybe something he knows about, whether it's an item, person, place, or thing kind of thing, it could result in something that helps you, like that just did, because now I know it's a silver blade is what the blacksmith needs to create for me if there's multiple options to choose from. So at this point, I don't need to do anything else in the end. I'm going to go ahead and end day number 10's turn. We're going to say yes. And just like that, we refresh an effort die. I didn't use any for any checks, so we don't need to. We're going into day number 11. It states, the beast has been seen in the woods again. Its blood-curdling howl echoes in the wilderness. And just like that, the beast leaves the town and heads south. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And we're going to begin day number 11. Alright, so I can take a couple different paths to get to where I need to go, and you know that I can move up to 2 spaces on a given day, so I could, for instance, go 1, 2, and then on the next day, go 1 into here. But how about we go ahead, seeing as we know it's going to take 2 days travel to get to the Abbey, let's actually go 1 and go up to the unexplored area, and then just go over, because it'll be 2 days as well, plus we get to check out a totally different area. So I'm going to go ahead and move myself here, and then move myself here. We're going to explore tile 16. Back in the app, we're going to scroll over here and hit, let's go ahead and explore this tile and see what happens. We got the briars and rocks are covered in snow. Not much else to be seen here. All right. Hitting OK, there is a horse in peril up here. Interesting. The horse is managing to evade the wolf for now. Oh no, there is a wolf up here. Oh gosh. So maybe keeping that trap would be a good idea, but I do have a lot of other things I could use. Despite the freezing cold, water still flows. Holy spring. That sounds pretty good. That sounds like Yeah, that could be the spot to maybe interact rather than the horse, as I don't really want to get in conflict with a wolf at this point. In the far corner of the meadow, a dramatic scene is unfolding. A horse of rare beauty is assailed by a ravenous wolf. For now, it manages to evade the predator, but how long can it last? Refresh one of your effort dice. Hit OK. All right. So even though the horse is in peril, and I got to think about this because I know from my prior Challenger play that the horse can allow you to move wherever you want really quickly. So there are benefits to going after the horse for sure. So maybe this is the right time to potentially do that. So let's actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's maybe interact with the horse in peril. So I'll go ahead and click on that, and we'll say visit the horse in peril. A defenseless creature is in peril. A stallion of great beauty is being harassed by a hungry wolf. For now, the horse is able to keep its attacker at bay, but it's clearly exhausted, and the frozen field offers no shelter. Your revival buys it some time as the wolf's attention turns momentarily to you. We can choose to fight the wolf, or drive the wolf off, or simply just run, because we've now become terrified and just want to deal with it. You can see we can scan certain items for certain options, but also there's checks involved, so we have to determine which way we want to go. Now, what's my stronger skill based on my trackers right now? If I take a glance over on the power track, I have trackers at 2, 6, 9, and 10. And if I look at the dexterity one, I've got 5, 7, and 10. So overall, if I use the sword by fighting the wolf, which is a top option, scanning the sword, it'll guaranteed give me a 10. I don't even have to roll, which will automatically on the power track give me 4 successes going in, which I think is exactly what I need to do here. So let's go ahead and hit fight the wolf. We're not going to fight with our bare hands. We're going to fight with a weapon because we're smart. I'm so glad I didn't toss that sword. That would have been so bad. And we're going to go ahead and scan this. It's large and hungry, but it's no match against steel. Soon the wolf lies dead. Gain the bloody trophy. Card number 2. Perfect. And now we move into the option to tame the stallion. Let's go ahead and get that card number 2 first, though. That worked out perfectly, and we've seen this trophy before. Remember when we tried to go to the bishop and we only had one of these, and we tried to convince him that we had dealt with enough wolves? Well, this would have been another one we could have scanned and showed him, like, look, we killed this wolf as well, and he probably still would have said, if we hadn't taken down the actual wolf den, he probably would have been like, nice try to convince me you've really done the full job. And so that den was really important that we ended up doing. So in terms of getting to that den first and not killing this wolf and the other singular wolf, and then running to the bishop was probably the best. Although if you're really good at your checks and you can convince the bishop, I mean, hey, you might be able to pull it off by yourself without even having to deal with the den. I just did it a little differently. So at this point, we now have full inventory. Let's head back to the app. I am certainly interested in trying to tame the stallion. But actually, before we go, I'm just going to click on it because we can choose to tame it by either, when I'm clicking on the app, it states with soft words and patience with an intelligence check, or we came prepared with something. So I wonder if offering food to it could help it. Food is probably the last thing that's going to tame a horse. Maybe rope would have been the thing that I would have wanted to actually have to try to tame it. So I'm not going to try to use the food because I think that'd be a poor decision. Let's try to use the soft words and patience. And looking at what I've got here for cards here, it states this one here, it says in every single intelligence test, you may once re-roll all your effort dice. So if I don't like my result on this roll, I can go ahead and re-roll. So let's actually do that right now. I'm choosing to do the intelligence test. So we're going to find out how many successes we can get here. So I'm definitely rolling my 2 default dice, and I'm going to probably throw a whole bunch at this because I really want to pull this off, because having a horse that can move me around quite easily would be huge. And I know I have food where I could refresh up to 2 dice. So even after using all of these, I could get most of them back, actually all of them, based on getting 1 back at the beginning of the next day too. So here we go. Big time roll, hoping for good things. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, that's an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That is a massive roll. It's off the charts. Guaranteed 4 successes across the board. I don't even have to use my always ability to reroll. I'm quite happy with this. So let's input 4 in the app and cross our fingers. Inside the app, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and 4 and hit confirm. Seems like you have a good hand for horses. Spending time to approach slowly and speak softly, you manage to climb onto the stallion's back. It doesn't object. Gain stallion 43. This is going to be pretty awesome, I think. Check out the stallion. It gives me a +1 move range and it's always on, which means I can now move up to 3 spaces. Taking a look at my inventory, is there anything I can discard in order to make use of right now? Yes, as I mentioned, the food. I'm going to discard this to refresh 2 effort dice right now. This goes back to the box. These 2 dice come in. We can now take the stallion we just gained and place it in this slot. That's going to be a huge boost for us. At this point, going back to the app, we're going to go ahead and end our turn. There's nothing else we can do here. We'll hit yes. It states nothing else worthwhile happens on the frozen field. We hit OK. The point of interest token is going to be removed from where we're currently at, so I will do that. We'll hit OK as we move into day number 12. I get to refresh 1 effort die, so that last die that I wasn't able to put in the oval is now in, so everything's back, which is fantastic. We hit OK and we start day 12. Now I can tell you right now, the horse is going to be a huge boost to getting us back to the town in a quicker fashion in the future. Taking a look at the game board, I think you guys know exactly where I'm heading this turn. It's going to head right into here. We want to interact with the Abbey in the app. Let's do it. Inside the app, we're going to head over to the Ruined Abbey and click on it. We definitely want to visit it. It says not much is left of the Abbey, just a crumbling ruin lost on a snowy hill, but by some miracle, some cracked stained glass in a remaining window is partially preserved. The rare winter sun gives light to its vibrant colors, masterfully crafted. It must have been magnificent in the Abbey's glory days. We could search the ruin or look at the stained glass. Interesting. I'm going to, for now, search the ruin because I think that's what I need to do here, but it's tough to know which one is the right choice here. Now, in terms of this test, that would be a dexterity test, and I would do a lot better at looking just based on the cards that I have and where the trackers are placed. So actually, let's look at the stained glass first. Let's do that one. So we'll click on that and we're going to go ahead and do some rolling. And actually, before we go ahead and commit to that test at all, I have a couple things I want to do, especially with the bloody trophy here. So what I'm going to do before I go into that check, because you cannot go ahead and expend your XP token and use it when you're inside of a check, but you can of course exit out of a selection you've made if you don't want to do the check right then and there. You just can't go ahead during your check and be like, oh no, I rolled X value on my die. I want to use this XP to boost up the trackers to get a better end success result. You can't do that. But here I can do this. So what I'm going to do before I go ahead and commit to looking at the stained glass, I'm spending my XP. What I'm going to do is move this one to the 1 position, which is going to help me to get extra XP tokens by discarding this card, which I will be doing shortly. The other one I'm going to move up because I can move up 1 tracker 2 spots or 2 trackers 1 spot. The other 1 spot I'm going to push up, I think, is going to be, seeing as dexterity, I only have 3 trackers in it. I want to make that one easier to pull off. So we'll go like this. That'll help with the next check we need to do. And then right now, I'm going to go ahead and discard the bloody trophy because I have a tracker at the 1 position. So I go ahead and discard this. I gain 2 XP. And right now I can spend these if I want, and I might as well. So I'll spend 1 of them. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to boost dexterity up 1 more to make this even easier. I might actually do this twice like that to really make it easy. And then I'll use this one here in order to boost my intelligence one. I'll build this one from a 12 to 11 and a 10 to a 9. And I'm pretty happy with that overall. That was a pretty solid use of cards. Let's go ahead with this intelligence check. So we're going to go ahead with the stained glass, taking a look at it. 2 default dice. I'm going to throw in a couple effort dice as well, as I really want to be successful at these checks. Although I do want to keep... No, let's actually keep 2 dice for the dexterity one to make sure that really works out for us. And we'll do 1 die on this one, because remember, I have a reroll. It states in every single intelligence test you may once reroll all your effort dice. So I can really reroll this if I get a really poor number. So let's go ahead with this and see how it goes. We got ourselves a 6-7. So I'm always looking at this here because this would allow me to refresh 2 dice as well, but I haven't been 5 or lower in a bit. So 6-7. So that's going to put us for the intelligence 1-2. So we only have 2 successes. Now, do I want to reroll this? Yes, it's only a 1. Let's see if we can get lucky to push it up a little higher. 3, that's a little better. So 4, 7, 8, 9. Bam, we hit that 3rd success. So let's go ahead into the app and punch in 3. Heading into the app here, 1, 2, and 3, we're going to confirm the figures vibrant in the rays of the sun move as if it's alive. 3 knights burdened with chains walk a long winding path, and at the end, an angel waits. As you try to focus on it, a shadow briefly falls over the ruin. A piece of glass is missing where the angel's face should be. You shiver and fall to your knees, burdened with knowledge you don't yet understand. We do get to gain an XP token, which I'm going to take. That's fantastic. So this is going to go over towards my player tray. We'll hit OK in the app, and we only have the option to search the ruin, and that's the reason I kept 2 effort dice, and that's the reason I spend so much XP to boost those things up. Let's go ahead, click on that. We got some successes to maintain and pull off. All right, so it comes down to this roll. I think this is going to be a really important one, which is why I got those markers as far down as I could. And yes, I do have an XP token here as well. So before I go ahead and make this check, let's go ahead and actually expend this XP token before I commit to this option. So let's go ahead and move up. What do I want to do? Probably, I do like, this is tough. I'm going to go 1 here, and I'm going to go 1 here, making this even easier for the dexterity, so we can guarantee we can get 3. And of course, if I really botch things, I've got the talisman to give me 3 too, so that's nice. Let's roll everything we got. We're going to throw the farm at this and see if we can get a good result. We got 7, 8, 9, 10. That is enough. Easily, we got 3 successes going in. Pretty happy with that. 3 successes should be what we need to pull this off. Let's go ahead and confirm it. It says, can it be? The tabernacle is left intact. It seems unlocked, but ages of disuse have jammed the hinges shut. Refresh 1. Only 1 of your dice. This is bad. There's another check coming, you guys. So, oh no, this is going to be interesting. So here we go. We got the 1 die coming back into the pool, and we're definitely going to go ahead and try to open the tabernacle. Now, the interesting thing is I could scan something to try to get in, or I could try to pull it hard. Now, I do have the obsidian knife. Do you think the knife is enough to pry it open, or should I just try to pull hard? That is a tough thing to decide. This is a really stressful decision because I can see going either way as being a good idea. What do I do here? Do I think the knife is strong enough, that ritual weapon I have, to be able to pry it open, or is a knife not big enough to pry open this thing and I should go with the roll? Now, my roll would be pretty weak. I only have 1 effort die to add in, and based on where things are on the track for the power track, it's at the 1 position, 6, 9, and 10, so it's pretty spaced apart. I probably would likely get 2 successes at best with my roll. With the obsidian knife, though, I might just be outright successful, and it's a really expensive item, so it might be what I need. So let's go ahead and try to pry it open. This is really, really stressful, and we're going to see if this pans out. Hopefully I don't break the thing while I'm trying to do this. The old thing is jammed and it won't budge. You notice a glimpse of tarnished silver through the crack, but the treasure remains out of reach. No! So I don't lose this item. It didn't break. It didn't say that the obsidian knife didn't work, or I shouldn't say, it did actually say the obsidian knife didn't work, but it's not going to remove it or discard the card from my inventory, so that's a plus. We do, however, get to go ahead and gain 1 on the power track, which is, you know, a little bit of a nice bonus. So we'll go ahead and hit OK, but you can see for this current day, I'm going to have to stop and retry this again going into the next day. So for now, we'll hit end turn, and we'll do just that. In a second here, I'm just going to right now refresh this die. I will show you which marker on the power track I'm going to uptick in a second. Looking at the power track, let's go ahead and uptick this one from a 9 to a 8. At this point, we have 2 effort dice in there. We're definitely going to stay put, not move at all. We're going to interact with the Abbey again, so let's head back to the app for day 13. Clicking on the ruined Abbey, we're going to say yes, we're going to visit it again, and we're going to still try to open the tabernacle. This time, though, we're going to try to pull really hard. So let's go ahead and roll some dice and see how it goes. All right, so at least I got enough dice here. I feel fairly confident this could go well. I should, hopefully, be able to pull off 3 successes. Fingers crossed. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself just then. Here we go. We got ourselves 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not a super high roll, but guess what? That's going to do it. That will at least give us 3 successes. Now, in terms of that, you know, will that actually do it? I don't know, but 3 is a pretty solid roll in terms of successes. So let's go ahead and exhaust these, find out what the app has for us. Now, based on when we failed inside the app, it did state there was something shining silver in there. So I know what I need is inside this thing. So I really hope 3 is what is going to work. Let's go ahead and hit confirm. It states you pull with all your strength and it finally relents. There's a chalice inside, its surface shining as only silver can. How long has it been here? Forgotten by all? We can take the chalice, or we can take the chalice but leave an offering in return. Ah, shoot. I don't have an offering. So I'm guessing this could go really Oh, this is tough. I don't have the ability to do that, so I'm going to have to just take the chalice. You take the silver chalice. Who'd find a better use for it than you, and yet you feel uneasy. Maybe the chalice is long since forgotten, but your conscience still gnaws at you, where you're going to exhaust one of our effort dice, but the good thing is I don't have any to exhaust, so nice try. And then we're going to gain the chalice, which is the second silver item. It has to be. Go ahead and hit OK, and we're going to also be ending our turn right after we grab the chalice. Check it out, we got our second silver item. In every intelligence test, you may set one of your reroll dice to any face as well. That's fantastic. We'll slot that right in our inventory. We have what we need now between these two items to go ahead and build the silver blade at the blacksmith. So let's rip there as fast as we can on our stallion in the near future. Inside the app, we're going to end our turn, hitting yes, and it states, walking back from the abbey, you find a patch of fresh herbs growing from a sunlit patch on the ground. You take it as a good sign. Gain some herbs, card 11. Hey, that's nice. And the abbey is going to disappear from the app as well. We now get to refresh one effort die, which I'm going to do. I'm just going to place this into my area for rolling in the future, and we head into day 14. Now, the herbs I just picked up are going to actually end up on the ground, as I don't have space in my inventory to take them, and I don't want to use anything in my inventory to make room for them just yet. So I will just put this token here so I can come back and potentially grab it in the future. But I know what I'm doing on day 14, and that is to move really fast back to the blacksmith, which is great. I have the stallion because guess what? I can do it all in 1 day travel. There's 1 move, 2 move, and 3 move. Remember, you can't move diagonally. This is it, my friends. We are now at the blacksmith. We're going to go ahead and click on it and say, visit the smith. All right, setting up the smith's trade stack. We're going to get a crossbow, 2 swords, 2 hatchets, a trap, and 2 lockpicks. These are items we could potentially purchase from him. So let's go ahead and set that up. So as you can see, I've set up this trade stack right here, everything that was just depicted, and we've got ourselves a brand new trade token here, which I've also placed over where the blacksmith is. These are all the things we can potentially buy. Of course, I don't have any money right now, but there's a lot of great things in here. Like, I can think of multiple ways I could have used swords, hatchets, there's extra traps here, there's lockpicks to get into places that were locked. Like, there's all kinds of things here. And this is one of the coolest things of the game, is as you explore more and more of these items are available throughout your environment, and they're going to come in really handy. Heading back into the app, we know there was one reason we came to this blacksmith, the primary one anyway, was to level. We can go ahead and ask him about our destiny if we want to, but we definitely want to give him silver items at the very bottom. But first, let's do the destiny one just for fun, to see how much information he gives us about the gold side of my destiny. So we'll go ahead and click on that. We're going to scan it. States, bring any silver you can find to me, and I'll prepare you what you need. He thinks for a moment. We'll go ahead and hit OK. The manor would surely be the best place to find something so precious. Oh, so we could have actually found other silver items at different places. Good to know. So even him had a clue as to where to go next. And oh, this is so interesting. Okay, so it wasn't just the 2. There was more options out there. So next up, let's go ahead, and I'm going to go, and instead of trying to steal something or looking at his wares, which we know what are part of his wares based on the trade stack we set up, don't need to ask about any items. Let's just dig right into giving him a silver item. So this is going to be exciting. First one is the censer. We'll give him that first, as that's the first one we found. Pure silver, the smith says, quickly evaluating your finding. Seems like he's pretty happy with this. If you want a silver blade, I'll need some more material, of course, but this is enough for me to get started. Discard the censer. The smith starts working on your weapon. He will need 1 more silver item to melt down. Well, I got that. So it does state here, or looks like, I can't just give him another silver item right away. I'm going to have to end my turn here and go into the next day and be able to do this again and come back to him. So for now, I think, just based on where I'm at, how much money I have, which is zip, I'm going to end my turn right here and say yes. We're now heading into day 15. 1 effort die comes back. I have 2 now available in my pool, and we're going to hit OK. And I'm not going to move. We're going to go right back into interacting with the blacksmith again, as I want to give him my other silver item. So let's do that at the very bottom. You guys know which one I want to give him now. It's the chalice. So let's go ahead and do just that. We'll go ahead and scan it. Pure silver. He's very happy with this as well. This will be enough, says the smith. Tomorrow your blade will be ready. Discard the chalice. The smith has received enough material. Meet his assistant in the church to begin your hunt. Awesome. Okay, so we gotta go to the church. And at this point in time, again, very happy with what I've done. We're gonna end our turn right here, say yes. And we get to refresh our last effort die, which means everything's back. Very handy. States, the beast slinks back into the shadows, leaving behind only the bloody remains of its latest victim. What? What is his latest victim now? Oh no, where has he gone? Oh no, what is happening? Okay, so we're gonna have to update the actual map here, but somebody just got slaughtered. We'll go ahead and hit OK. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and head to the church right now. So we'll move from where I'm currently located to here. We're gonna interact with the church in the app. Inside the app, we'll select the church and say yes. And it says right here, we can let the hunt begin. And you can see the D is right there, which means destiny, which is awesome. So we are now fulfilling our destiny. Let's go ahead and click on that. There is no stopping now. It is time or not yet. So basically, are we ready yet or not? And I think I am. I would go spend money if I actually had enough money. Ooh, actually, that's another thing. Should I try to steal? No, stealing money just to have the gold and not be able to buy anything before I move into this doesn't sound like a wise decision yet. Although I could like run around and buy some things and then come back, but I think I'm gonna leave it as is. We're gonna say it is time. Let's see if we can pull this off. The smith's assistant left a gift for you. As you unwrap it from its cloth cover, its silver tip shines bright in the candlelight. Truly a monster slayer's weapon. Gain the silver spear 41. We're gonna hit OK. Now this, my friends, is a fine silver weapon. It has an always effect. It states in every power test, you may increase one of your markers inside the dexterity track to use all of your dexterity markers instead of your power markers. Heading back inside the app, we have two options. It says time to track down the beast, or you can't leave without a blessing. A blessing would be good. A blessing would be good. I think that makes sense. Let's try to do the blessing. I really hope that this actually works out for me. So we can choose to pray, or we can choose to scan something that has a holy symbol. Now, as of right now, I have nothing that has a holy symbol. So just praying is all I could do. So I think I'll do it. Let's go ahead and pray with our intelligence. Now, I don't want to pour everything into this roll because, again, if I fail, things could go sideways for me and I'm wasting effort dice where I probably need them for the beast. The one thing I could do is just roll the default dice, hope that I actually fail the check completely, then use the talisman to automatically get 3, and then hope that the benefit from the blessing's really, really good. That actually could be an interesting strategy, as I don't think I'm going to be wanting to aim for that going forward, and the chances of me actually getting this is quite low. So let's actually do that. Let's try to see if we can do really bad on this die. This is a really, really big gamble. The good news is I don't have to burn any effort dice trying this. So let's see. Oh, I got a 4. That works. Sorry, I just flipped that over, but it was a 4. So that works perfect. That means it's going to land here, which is basically a fail. And so I can use my talisman right now, discarding it to gain 3 successes. Heading inside the app, we're going to go ahead and hit 1, 2, and 3 and hit confirm. It says, as you pray, you could swear there's a glow at the tip of your spear. Pure silver, shape sharpened and now blessed. You are more than ready. You leave the relative safety of the church behind and march through the town, inspiring awe with the silver weapon you carry. Some folk cheer and wish you luck, and you already feel like a hero of legend. You barely reach the edge of the town before finding the beast tracks in the snow. The bloody prints are impossibly large. The blood is still fresh. Will yours be spilled as well? And we go ahead now, and we're actually ending a turn at this point, so we'll go ahead and hit OK, and we're starting day 17, which has to be leading us into the final day. And we were refresh an effort die, but we don't have any to refresh, so we can go ahead and hit OK. You stare at the bloody tracks. You realize the beast is growing bolder, wandering this close to town again. Will it attack soon? We have 2 options inside the app here. One is to set a trap, and the other is to follow the tracks. At this point, I'm not going to set a trap as I don't have one. Instead, let's follow the tracks. So we'll click on that inside the app for a test. Now we have some dice rolling to do. Now at this point, I might have multiple checks to do to get to the end of this, so I think what I'm going to do is not use every single die that I have. In terms of effort dice, I'll definitely be using my default dice here, and again, we're doing an intelligence check, so it's across the top here. I have nothing down here that can help me except for if I happen to roll so poorly, I can bring back some dice. So that's a plus. But we're going to go in with these 2 for sure, and I'm just going to add 1 more into the fray and hope that gets me past the 2 successes, which I think is all we need. I want to keep these for anything else going on within this finale. So let's go ahead and see if my rolling can be a little bit better than the other times I've done this. Okay, so not so great, but guess what? That is 6, and that's exactly what we need to get at least 2 successes, so that's good. We'll go back to the app, put those in, and see how things panned out while we followed the tracks. Inside the app, I'm going to put in 2 successes and hit confirm. The trail is fresh, but you hesitate to follow. Curious villagers gather behind you watching. Do they expect a spectacle? There's no choice now. You follow the tracks, a winding path all through the town to the outskirts. It leads back to the woods. Do you glimpse a movement among the trees? I don't know, do I? My turn at this point is ending, so we'll hit OK. We're going into the next day. I get to actually bring back one of my effort dice, which is perfect, because that's one of the ones I spent. So that goes back in the pool, and we can hit OK. We're going into the finale again. It states, you stare into the forest from its edge. You are certain the beast is nearby, too close, in fact, for you to make any further preparations. We can try to call out to the beast, or we can lure it in with blood. Unfortunately, I don't have that. Now, it looks like there's 2 options on that second one, and I imagine that I could choose to potentially kill something nearby. I do even have a stallion, so I could do something horrific, like maybe I can kill the stallion and lure it in with that, or I can just simply call out to the beast and try to lure the beast out that way. I don't know which way to go here, but I'm going to do something wild. Let's try, seeing as I don't think I'm going to be moving around too much with my stallion anymore. Let's be nuts and actually go ahead and take out the stallion and leave it for the beast. At least see if that's an option anyway. So I'm going to click on the bottom option here. We can spill our own blood, or we can sacrifice an animal. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try and sacrifice an animal here. Yes, I am a horrible person for choosing this, but I'm going to give it a shot because I want to see what might happen. Now, if I didn't have this horse, I might have to go with the spill your own option or choose the other thing that was inside the app. But for now, we're sacrificing an animal. So let's see how this goes. Your animal companion lies dead, sacrificed on your path to glory. Fresh blood paints the snow. It smells sharp in the winter air. You wait, knowing that the beast will certainly react to the irresistible scent, and there it is, a glimpse of movement behind the trees, a howl disturbingly taunting. Discard the stallion, so my stallion card is going to be removed. We're going to hit OK. It states the beast slowly emerges from between the huts. It's so close you can feel the warmth of its breath washing over you. A mountain of muscle and sinew covered in matted fur. You grasp your weapon tighter. This is your moment of glory. Attack, or be careful and concentrate on defense. We're definitely going for the attack. I've got the silver spear. Let's do this and scan the top option and see how it goes. You've prepared well. The silver shines brightly. Strike. And at this point, we are now going to go ahead and do a power check. Heading into this big time attack, I've got a lot of effort dice to use. I'm probably going to throw all of them into this mix because I really want to make sure I get some serious successes. Now, if I just go ahead and make a power track test right now, I've got one in the 1 position, the 6 position, 8, and 10. I do have an ability on the silver spear that allows me during these types of tests, which is what I'm doing right now, I could decrease my dexterity, one of the markers down by 1, to use all my dexterity markers in terms of what happens here for the power track instead of the power track. So I could roll and be going and looking at these. But the downside to that, in my mind anyway, even though they're a little bit more clumped up and probably better on average, is that there's only 3 of them. So my best case scenario is 3, whereas with the power track, if I can get a 10, then I guarantee myself 4. So I think just in the fact that I'm going to be rolling this many dice, I'm going to stick with the regular power track. We're going to roll all of these and hope we land a big time hit on the beast. Oh my gosh, that's a really low roll overall. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 1 away. That is absolutely brutal. But we still get at least 1, 2, 3 successes. Heading back into the app, we'll go ahead and input those 3 successes and see how it goes. You strike true and the silver blade pierces the monster's chest. Blood flows as it falls to its knees with a cry of pain. Behind you, cheers begin to sound. We'll hit OK. Oh, we're not done yet. The beast lies before you, breathing heavily. Its eyes are full of human pain. All around you, the bravest of the townsfolk gather to witness your victory. We can end this with joy or end this with pity. Oh, this makes things really interesting. Which way do I want to go here? I'm going to go... Let's go with pity this time around. So end this with pity. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and make another check, and we will be using power. However, this time I might use my Silver Spear ability. This makes things really tough when I'm only rolling for this check just these 2 dice right here. My best chance is to get 2 4s, and if that ends up happening, then and only then will I be able to get up to 3 successes. But it's more likely that I'm probably going to be down and around this range right here, which makes the decision as to whether I should use this ability really tough. Because remember, if I choose to use this, I still have to move one of these markers up 1, which means this one would be the only one that could actually move up on, and it would have to go up here to 8. And if it was like that, you know, what is best odds-wise? Well, technically, just based on how things are situated, this row down below, which is the power track, is still better. So I think I'm just not going to use a special ability from the Silver Spear after all. We're going to roll on this row down at the bottom, and we're going to hope we can land some high numbers. Hasn't happened recently, but we'll hopefully get it here. Ah, 4. But see, this is one of the reasons why it was worth it to stick with this track, because it guaranteed me that I got at least a 1 success. If I had gone with this ability down below, I would have been looking at the dexterity track, and this roll would have failed and not worked out for me. So at least I got 1. It's also worth noting down here that it states that after each test where you roll less than 5 or equal to 5, refresh 2 dice. So we're going to get 2 effort dice back, which is great, because if we have any more checks to make, we now actually have a chance to throw some more extra effort in. Heading back to the app, we're putting in 1 success. This is probably not going to result in something good. We'll see. There is no joy as you end the beast's suffering. You feel like you've taken part in something beyond your understanding. Whenever curse befell this creature, it was not an evil you expected to face. Cheers resound, breaking your moment of reflection. You try to object, but the growing enthusiastic crowd sweeps you away. A hero, they call you. Maybe you truly are. We'll go ahead and hit OK. The app states we win. So people rejoice as their hero bloodied but triumphant stood over the fallen beast. Finally he gained the admiration he craved as the bravest of the villagers marveled at the monster's carcass. Gasps of disbelief resounded. The beast's form, no longer held by the curse that shaped it, shifted and transformed, revealing the maimed but recognizable face of the mayor himself. No one knew what curse befell him, but they were sure of 2 things. His wife, the sorceress, was to blame, and surely the noble was a hero, worthy of presiding over the land. She was soon found, hiding in the dark woods, and exiled in shame. He reigned for long years, a just and brave man, beloved by his subjects. Soon the winter ended, and with it the memory of this bloody time. As spring came, celebrations were held, as survivors of the winter days feasted, merry and eager to leave the darkness behind. Little did they know that their predicament was but the beginning of something much grander. And we'll go ahead and end the scenario right here. It states you want to go back to the main menu, and just like that, did we enjoy playing Destinies? I know I did. I really enjoyed this Explorer mode. It definitely leaves things open-ended for you to have all the time you need to piece together the story and play through it. Now, if you've seen this playthrough as well as my Challenger mode playthrough, you know you can play this in multiple different ways when playing solo. Out of those, well, I guess 2 different ways when playing solo, and both of them are very different. You'll be on the clock in the Challenger mode, and here you won't have to deal with that. But long story short, however you wish to play and consume Destinies, there is certainly a very interesting narrative that's being unfolded as you go along. Now, the next scenarios that you'll move into as you move into the app, you'll see Feast of Famine will begin one of 4 series of scenarios that are connected together in terms of their overarching story. So that'll be really interesting, as what we covered here on Rolling Solo was just the standalone scenario for Nature of the Beast. And that, my friends, is going to wrap up this playthrough of Destinies from Lucky Duck Games. Really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below, did you enjoy going through this in the Explorer mode? Has this game enticed you? Do you already have it? Are you playing it? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Thank you again for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.